If you're a man with big goals you want to achieve, you need to approach the woman situation properly because that could very well be the thing that puts you achieving your goals off by like 5, 10, 20 years, or flat out be the reason you don't achieve them at all. And at the end of the day, we're gonna be men. We're gonna want a woman in our company, whether we're dead broke, just starting out, whether we're super successful, and every point in between. We want female company for the reasons that are fucking obvious to everyone. We don't need to get into that. But it's such a shame to see the amount of guys that fall off achieving their potential because a woman derails them. And this was me. I wasted so many years of my life and put myself into 5 figures worth of debt trying to gain the approval and keep a woman that was fucking poisonous to me in my life, and it set me years back had I not done those things. So these are all the things you should be doing to attract the right woman in your life, how to become the man to attract that woman, the standards you need to have for yourself, the things to look for, all that shit. We're gonna go over it. Starting with number one, you need to understand the nature of the beast. Women are wired for connection, meaning they need a lot more touch points than men, which is why they'll send you little checkup texts throughout the day. If you work from home, they'll pop into your office. They'll always try and see how you're doing, what you're doing, if you need anything. Biologically, they need those touch points all the time to reaffirm to themselves that they are safe. Obviously, there aren't fucking saber-toothed tigers walking around our backyards these days. But back then, they needed to make sure that they still had a man to protect them. Otherwise, they were fucked. Just because that risk isn't there today doesn't mean internally that need for affirmation is gone. And I think this is really important to understand because a lot of men bring a woman into their lives with unrealistic expectations as to how that woman is going to behave. After the dating stage, when the woman starts to become comfortable, all those strong exterior layers that she was presenting in the beginning are gone. And now she will start to become more attached and act that way. So you need to be ready for that. Which leads me to my first point of you need to have your standards and your fucking foundation down pat. Because she will start to deteriorate those if you let her. And she's not doing it on purpose. But we've all been there. It all starts off as let's just watch 5 more minutes, or let's finish the episode, or one more episode. And then it's morning time and you're cuddling first thing in the morning. Your alarm goes off. 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes turns into another snooze. You're waking up 30, 45 minutes later, right? You're on point with your diet and all of a sudden, can we just grab like a little sweet treat or a snack for when we get home when you're on the way home from somewhere? Or then maybe you're at the gym and she's like, can we just skip cardio today? It's not that she's being lazy or she wants to deteriorate your standards and who you are and what you're building, but they just want that softness, that comfort. Which is why, A, it's important to find a woman who's as invested in your success as you are. But also, it's important for you to have your standards set because when you bring that woman into your life, she will know that this is the life you live and that she's not to interfere with it. Her presence is to be in addition to it and built around it. She's not there to set up camp in the middle of your schedule. Okay, and this is where a lot of guys fall short. They think that to keep a woman happy and to keep her satisfied, they need to start to cut corners in their own lives to make space for her. No, 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 no. That's completely wrong. A good, desirable woman will be attracted to a man with firm standards he has when it comes to his self-improvement and achieving his potential. So when you have self-development as your North Star, and that is the main thing you're focusing on day in and day out, she will find that much more attractive than any other seductive fucking cologne you can wear, than any outfit, than any fucking smooth pickup lines. Your character and your determination to get shit done is going to be the sexiest thing to her. And on the point of self-improvement, that leads me to number two. That should always be your main priority. And I say this because we as men want to invite a woman into our lives to understand us and accept us and not criticize us and see us for who we are so that there's finally someone in our lives that we don't have to wear a mask for. We don't need to appear overly macho for, right? Obviously, we still want to be masculine. We still want to be leaders. We still want to be the heads of the house. But it's not the same as when we're dealing with other men. We don't need to have that same chest up attitude like we do with other men. Okay, we can let our guard down a bit. But with that comes exposing very vulnerable and sensitive sides of yourself that if you haven't taken the time to address and deal with and heal, if it's mishandled by a woman, it will fuck you up so much more if you have not done the work. You're going to be raw and emotional and reactive, okay? Those aren't masculine qualities. And you need to heal whatever's inside so that you can be grounded, calm, and respond from a place of maturity and logic and understanding and not be a slave to your emotions. As a man, everything starts with us. The tone of a relationship comes from you. If you notice, if a woman's attached to you, she will mirror your mood. She will be extremely bugged if you're bugged. She will be anxious if you're mad, right? She'll be anxious if you're also anxious and pent up. Meaning you, as the foundation of the relationship, need to be as calm and as stable and as level as possible. Because if you try and build a foundation on an unstable or uneven surface, it's going to tip and fall. So it's all up to you. And that all starts from within. It's not just about fucking building a body and being lean and being strong and athletic. That stuff doesn't teach you to address any of the shit in here. Remember, humans are creatures of habit. You do fitness for long enough, you're not motivating yourself and you're not fighting yourself to go to the gym every day. You just do it because you've done it for long enough. You don't need to actually fucking go through those mental battles and mental hurdles of, it's going to be so hard. I don't want to do this. You're on autopilot. You just go. The internal shit is much more intentional. It's much more of a focused battle that you can't just do on autopilot because its difficulty is like 10 times higher, 100 times higher than anything you could do physically. So it's much easier for your mind to want to avoid doing it because it's that much more uncomfortable than any sort of physical discomfort. But the third and final point of all this is that you can't be chasing this stuff. You can't be chasing trying to find this connection. Because if you're chasing that, then you're not 100% focused on your purpose. These players and these guys with hundreds of fucking bodies and their entire phone list is just girls texting them, Snapchat, DMs. Those guys have no fucking purpose. Those guys have no clear direction. Those guys have no big ambition that gives them such fucking raw fear that they feel that they need to transform themselves internally to become the man that achieves those goals. So if you're chasing women, you're not chasing your ambition. And remember, like I said earlier, when you chase your ambitions, women are magnetized to that. So you need to approach finding the right woman with a very, it'll come at the right time mentality versus I have to go out hunting for it. Because then your mind might start to see red flags or things that are unacceptable as green flags. And you'll start to convince yourselves that things that aren't okay are actually okay. Because then you're trying to find a body to fill that space in your mind that's saying, we need someone here. We need to have this partner. Versus when you come at it from a place of when it comes at the right time, it'll come. You're much more aware. You're much more analytical. Right? Obviously connection matters, but there are a lot of logical decisions men need to be aware of when it comes to picking the right woman. And it's hard to see things clearly when you're sprinting at full speed towards something versus if you take a step back, maybe like a light brisk walk, now you could see everything more clearly. Now you have time to actually take things in. Think, analyze what you're seeing and make a decision from a grounded place instead of from a place of like, I fucking need this right now, otherwise something's wrong. You need to become whole with yourself as a man before you bring a woman in, because you do not want to adopt parts of her character. And that's what happens with people when someone comes into their lives and they themselves aren't complete internally. They start to adopt parts of that person. And if you don't know how to properly discern whether this person is good and whether you should be bringing them into your lives or not, you start to adopt really shitty things about people. And then you start to deteriorate and set yourself back even further than when you began. I'm never going to be the red pill guy that says women can't be trusted and they're all evil and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is in this day and age, you need to be much more careful than you would have to be back then because morality has taken a fucking nosedive and there are a lot of women doing completely unacceptable things but will present themselves as angels to you and then you end up falling into bed with a snake dressed in a fucking bow, right? It's not what you think it is, but you're so focused on the bow because you don't know what you're actually fucking looking for. So believe me, I understand that male side of us that wants to have female company no matter what's going on in our lives, but just go about it properly so you don't end up setting yourself years back and then spend a fucking ridiculous amount of time playing catch up.